Hello there, I'm Karen Antara. I'm an intuitive energy channel, and this is my report for October of the energies and the themes that I feel and sense are coming through that I'd like to draw to your attention. And so I've been sitting with what I need to share today in regards to the current energies of what's happening on the planet, but also in particular with respect to the planetary ascension, but really our personal ascension process as well. And clearly, there have been some massive changes on the world scene through September and even into October. I'm recording this on the 2nd of October, and already October is feeling like it's pretty hot and spicy. There's going to be a lot happening in October. And so I really just feel that the energy is ramping up everywhere. I'm sure you're feeling it too. Over the next 6 months, probably, and beyond, I think it's just going to intensify more and more. And I don't say that, to scare you. I really am saying it because I would like to help you to get prepared for it. And what is very clear to me, anyway, is that our sovereignty is being challenged from every direction, really. Potentially, our freedom is being taken away. Potentially, our human rights are being threatened. And, all of this is very fear-based. It's real life challenges. It's about things that we're going to see in our day-to-day life, things that will really affect us, possibly. But actually, I can't get on board with any of it. Now, I'm not living in a bubble. I'm not delusional or looking at things through rose-tinted glasses. I'm very practical and down to earth with this, but I do know that if I give it a lot of my energy and focus, it's literally going to suck me in and take me down, because that is the way that consciousness field works. It really does have a different agenda to mine, which is all about, expansion of consciousness, evolution, awakening, sovereignty, ascension as well. The agenda that wants to put us into fear with all of these threats, that's very different, and it's not a game that I want to play. Therefore, it's not something that I want to align my energy to in any way. I'm choosing not to be a part of it so that it won't drag me down into it. People talk about moving to 5D at the moment, right? Well, 5D has never really been a language that I use for this, because I feel that 5D actually is very limiting. I feel that we are so much more than just moving into 5D. How I talk about it is really about multidimensional levels and even beyond and out of pretty much everything that we know in terms of harmonic universe and things like that. By the way, 5D is really just another hijacked and distorted level of this matrix. It's just another level. I've talked about that, in things like the starseed trap and traumas and things like that I've spoken about for a long time. But definitely, I talk about multidimensional existence that is way beyond 5D. So when we think about moving out and beyond of this matrix of everything that we see going on around us here, it's really important to realize that we simply can't do that if we are in fear. And this is why so much of what is thrown at us from mainstream media, and actually even alternative media quite often, and the algorithms that keep delivering that type of information to us on Facebook or Instagram or wherever we're looking, all of that is very fear-based. It's sensationalism, it's catastrophe, it's all of the things that you could need to worry about for your survival. Now, if you haven't ever heard of trauma-based mind control, I strongly recommend you to look that up, because this is a real thing. It's not just a theory or a conspiracy theory. This is real. It's being done. It's being used all around us. And very strongly, of course, over the last 5 years with that little agenda and mind control program. And the thing is that when you see it, when you understand how it works, then you can avoid it and not be part of it. But you have to understand it first. And it takes a lot of focus to not be dragged into it when everyone around you is a part of it. It's always harder to stand apart from the crowd and stand in your truth when everyone is trying to pull you along a different pathway. It's hard. Many of us have gone through that in the last 5 years or years before as well. What I really want to stress to you today in this video is the need to really remove yourself from that kind of fear-based material and stay really present in your body, or learn to get in your body first of all and stay present. A lot of people actually are so unconsciously disturbed by all of this agenda that they actually don't even realize that they're not present in their body. That's a real danger, and it's very difficult because they think, oh, I'm so aware of all of this, I understand all of this, but actually, you know, you can feel if someone is in their body grounded or not. Many of them are not. So it's important to know how to get in your body and get grounded, and then stay present and stay focused, and don't get distracted off again and lose yourself. There's a tendency to see all of this stuff, go into fear, realize that you're in fear, get yourself grounded in your body and think you're done. But it's not as simple as that. This is kind of a little bit like cleaning your teeth. You do it several times a day, every single day, for the rest of your life, pretty much. So it's about paying attention, being focused, being committed, being aware, self-aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, all of that stuff. So the main theme really going forwards is creating and being able to maintain peace within, because the world is going to get rocky. It's going to be a really bumpy ride, as I say, for 6 months, for more than that. Now, you can't evolve and expand your consciousness, or ascend, if you like that word, when you are in fear and confusion. You simply can't do that. It's, you know, at opposite ends, really, of the scale. And we are living in very confusing times right now. People are backflipping all over the place. I mean, you look at certain big political figures and, you know, they're saying one thing and then they're doing the opposite, or they're saying one thing one day and then the next day it's something else. Very confusing. Also part of, you know, a process that they use to literally confuse and scramble your brain, because when you're confused, all of your logical thinking goes straight out the window. Again, you can be easily manipulated when you're in that confused state. So you need to be able to get in your space, stay in your space, and really rise above all of that kind of stuff that's happening, the ways of the world, if you like. And you have to be able to be observant of what's going on, because you might have to bob and weave a little bit, so that you don't get pulled down into the drama that's playing around you. And in a way, that's kind of like the difference between 3D and 5D on a very basic level. We think of 3D as being down here, you know, the sheep, the puppets, or, you know, whatever you want to call that. And we think of 5D as being above it. And it should technically be able to give us a bird's eye view of what's going on, if it wasn't hijacked already. So that's a little bit of a problem there. And there's more to it than all of that. It's not just like, oh, I'm in 5D now and I can see all of this. No, the work doesn't stop there. And it's not about being holier than thou. And it's definitely not about bypassing the work that you need to do inside of you, because there is a lot of falsity, in that 5D matrix. Really, this is about holding yourself stable and secure in your own knowing and holding peace inside of yourself. This is not bypassing or, wearing rose-coloured glasses. This is not what I'm talking about. Now, another thing that I wanted to bring up this month as well is how I am watching another cycle repeating of New Age false light information. It's being resurrected again, this cycle, it seems. Now, I've been around long enough to have seen this play out quite a few times before, which is why I can recognise it very quickly and easily. And I have talked about it heaps over the years. But basically, I'm watching young spiritual influencers who are really supported by the social media algorithms to put out what is literally a false light information. And I'm watching people get completely sucked in by it. And that is a little bit sad in my heart when I watch that. Many of these young spiritual influencers, they don't have a lived-in, embodied experience of this material that they're sharing. Most of it came out of books from 40, 50, 60 years ago, and it's being expressed as new. We've just discovered this, and people doing... I'm thinking of one person in particular, but I'm not going to mention any names because that's not my vibe. But one person I can think of who does remote viewing on the most obvious of things, like literally, you don't have to be a rocket science to see. And then this person is coming along, oh, I remote viewed this and this is what's happening. And it's like, duh. And yet loads and loads of people are clambering all over this person because they're so amazing with their remote viewing. I'm sorry, I'm not impressed. And I've got to say, I have heard this particular person allude to some very dark and disturbing information. Now, I'm all about truth, but you have to deliver it in a way that doesn't put your listeners into trauma, right? You have to give them hope, because I do see hope, and I am very much aligned with, that side of it. A lot of these influencers are being used by the dark side, in my opinion, and they are being used in a way that leads people away from the truth and light that is inherently within them. So what I'm seeing that it's doing is almost, you could say it's kind of like a savior martyr program where come to this person because they'll give you all the information that you need, but it kind of overrides your inner knowing, your truth. And I'm all about helping you develop that. We don't need more gurus and spiritual cults. We've done that too many times. What's new and different, though, about this repeating cycle of New Age information is that they're actually dragging up new people. Like Madonna. I saw Madonna talking about spirituality. Despite us having watched her on stage for many, many years, fully worshipping Baphomet and, everything loaded with satanic symbolism. And she's actively promoted that for years. That's a very dark side, a very dark agenda. And yet here she is now talking all about spirituality and raising consciousness. Now, has she swapped sides? Has she moved from dark into light? Well, I doubt it very much. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I just want people to be aware of this flip, this sudden flip, because a lot of people are just waking up now. They haven't looked at years and years and years of satanic symbolism that has been thrown at us. They've done this exact cycle before. I remember them bringing Oprah into it once before, and everyone, wow, it's Oprah. What she's saying must be right. But then I see that she leads you down this other path, and there's a whole load of stuff that Oprah has been accused of that's pretty dark as well. The thing is, when you're just waking up, you don't know that stuff. When you've been around as long as me, you've kind of seen it all, or a lot of it. And so I look at this and I go, oh, here we go again. We're going round again. I want to help people to wake up to that so that you don't get led down the wrong path. Because remember, a lot of these people are just playing a role here. The whole world is a stage, they say. Anyway, we are in a battle of light and dark. I personally believe that the light is winning, but we're not fully there yet. And we will still lose people along the way because they will be led astray by believing what they're told from an external source, as opposed to tuning in and finding the truth and the light that is within them, that is within all of us. And that's where we need to be going. We need to be going inward to access this information, not outside of us, not externally to another source who you don't really know what their agenda is. Always go inside, go internally. So we've done this before, and I've seen very beautiful people who are filled with light suddenly trip over on false information and fall into darkness and walk that dark path. And it's true to say that sometimes, certainly at the beginning, they don't even realize that they're now kind of on a different track. So it can be very difficult to discern how clear someone is or where they've shifted. But I've seen a number of people, and some of them that I followed for a while, quite honestly, I've seen them shift. And so I kind of can feel, it's a little bit like a glitch in the matrix. You can feel when someone's shifted, but you can only feel that if you are connected in to your heart, to your truth, and you can tune in and feel that and trust yourself when you get that information. Everyone has an opportunity to evolve or ascend, but it takes work, commitment, and focus. And a major myth that I will call out right now is that just because you are a healer or a light worker or a starseed, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are home and dry. It doesn't mean that you will definitely, ascend to the next levels, right? You still need to do your work. And there is a myth that people believe, oh, I have this amazing, high frequency energy field, or I have a beautiful, 24 strand DNA template, or 48 or more DNA template. And just being here on the planet is enough. No, it's not enough. I'm sorry to say. You have to activate that. You have to activate it before that light can shine out. Otherwise, it's the same as having, a lamp in the cupboard never plugging it into the power supply or turning it on. What good is it doing in the cupboard? Just because you have the potential within your energy template to activate a lot of people, if you're not working it, activating the energy within you first, well, then you're not gonna be able to shine your light and spread that very far. You have to do the work as well. And remember, you don't come in here pure. You still have all the stuff that you have to work through on a personal level, on a soul level, maybe karmically, ancestrally, past life stuff. All of that is still going on within you, and you have to work at that. And as you clear that, that's when your DNA template activates and your light shines through. And it's very beautiful to see it. So I do encourage you to not sit back and be complacent, but to actually step in and do this work, because it's so worth it. It really is so worth it. I can promise you that if you do this work, you will have a good life. You will not suffer, in some of the ways and experience some of the hardships that some of the people around you experience in this world. You will be in a better position for what is next to come, whether that is on this planet, in this lifetime, or in another level, because we've moved on. In order to step into the future as well, you really have to let go of the past, okay? The past version of you, the one that was maybe insecure, lacking in confidence, lacking in self-worth, all of that stuff. You have to let go of that past version of you. You've got to do the work in order to be able to do that. You can't just go, oh, that's it. I'm letting go. I'm a new person. It's not that simple, sadly. You have to let go of the past version of you. You have to let go of how you show up in relationships based upon that past version of you. You have to let go of old limiting beliefs, negative patterns of behavior, and also old systems and ways of doing things. Because this world is changing so quickly, certainly with technology. And you already know that I'm not a fan of AI. I feel that it's very destructive. I've talked about that before. When I say we have to move into the new ways of being, I'm not saying give all your power away to AI. That's a big threat and a big worry as well. But the world is changing very quickly, very dramatically. And I want to remind you as well that not everything offered to us, I could put AI into this as well, not everything offered to us ultimately is going to lead to our empowerment and our freedom. Some things are definitely in opposition to that. Again, I could mention AI, but you get my point, don't you? I'm not a fan, I think you can tell. Anyway, we have to navigate our way through all of this. And we have to work out what is acceptable to us, if and when we will compromise in any way, and what we will do, what we will let go of in order to exist in this world. For example, there were certain things through that period of the last 5 years that I was not willing to go along with. I could not compromise myself in that way to play that game. So I removed myself from it and navigated my way through life in a slightly different way. And it could be that we will have to go through things like that again very soon. There's a lot of movement here in Australia about digital IDs to be able to access social media. So it's possible, depending what they ask me, which hoops they ask me to jump through, it's possible that I won't be on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube forever. So therefore, because I see the potential of that, I'm working my way towards navigating through that. So I've opened a little account on Substack. I've started to put a few of my written pieces there. There's not a lot there at the moment, but it will. I'm going to be building that. This is not a paid Substack, by the way. This is just another place for me to put my writing if I'm booted off of Facebook at any point. So please come and join me on Substack if you'd like to stay in touch with me. Obviously, my website is an access point that holds all of my written work, and I talk to my groups on Signal, which is another app on the phone. So I'm orchestrating ways that I might really implement if I'm held to ransom in some of the other social media things, because that is a really big imminent threat here in Australia. Certainly before the end of the year, it will become evident how that's going to be, how that will roll out. And I know that in the UK, here in October, there's some big changes coming for people there. So it's a case of each of us having to navigate through this and saying, okay, what will I participate with and what will I not? And this is where this bird's eye view, which you could say is a 5D view or a higher self view, or just a higher consciousness a viewpoint to look at what is the big overall agenda in this, and do I want to play that game? Because when you enter that field, you're in their game, their rules, and it can be difficult, maybe impossible, but it can be difficult, let's say, to extract yourself from it once you've entered into it. So please think carefully and see how this is going to unfold for you, what you're willing to compromise, because from my viewpoint anyway, this looks like disempowerment and control. So bear that in mind as you look at what unfolds next. I'm really asking you to stay in touch with me outside of some of these other places in preparation for just in case. It's a little bit like, not really doomsday prepping, but conscious prepping. And, I hope that you will stay close to me, even if we can't be in our usual places. So we are looking at potential chaos as people work out how this is all going to be. Don't forget, some of it will be dramatized because that's how things are. There will be the usual attempts to program and mind control, because we've seen that tested out in the last 5 years. And so I don't want to put you into more fear. I want to encourage you to be able to go within and listen to your heart so that you can be inner guided and inner directed. And you do that by getting in your body, learning how to stay centered and in your power. It's so, so important. And remember, some people are in the very early stages of waking up to all of this. A lot of people still can't put these pieces together. And so we're going to be navigating a lot of fear from them as they wake up and see this. I remember the very first time I realised that the government don't care about us. It was a shock. And I know now, didn't know then, that when we go into a shock of, oh my God, there's like an energetic wave that releases from us. And what I think is going to happen with many people as we move forward is that there will be a mass shockwave of fear released. Now, you are an awakened person, I'm presuming, if you're listening to me. You may be an empath, an intuitive, a sensitive person. It's going to be vitally important for you to be able to ascertain the feelings that you have and where they're coming from. Firstly, you need to work out, is this my fear that I'm feeling? Am I afraid? Or are you being impacted by the fear in the collective consciousness? Two different things, handled in two different ways. So firstly, it's important that you can know what you're feeling by knowing yourself. Know thyself, the classic phrase there. But you will need to be able to hold yourself stable through these coming changes. And the changes are coming, whether it's the changes to social media or literally, new frequencies coming onto the planet, everything's shifting. You're going to be watching people spinning out around you because they haven't prepared themselves for this next influx of energy. I am not suggesting that anyone should stick their finger in an electricity socket because it's going to blow some circuits. You may never survive it. But for some people, when a mass load of energy comes onto the planet, it can feel like that. It can really upset your nervous system. It kind of feels like you're sizzling on the inside a little bit sometimes for some people. If you've had time, like years, to wake up to all of these things, you've taken on that energy and frequency in incremental upgrades, and your system has got used to it. May have been intense at the start, it was for me, but I've had years now with these incremental upgrades so I can hold a certain level of frequency. But when mass frequencies come onto the planet, like when there's a solar flare or something, I still feel it. I feel it in my neck. It's a particular feeling I get in my neck and in my head. And I'm like, oh, there's a solar flare or something. And then usually the next day, social media tells me that the Schumann resonance was off the charts. So, I know how these things work. But for anyone that's not into this, that's a big shock for the body. They won't know what's going on. And I want you to be aware of this so that you can hold stable. And it might be your calling to assist others as they wake up. But you can only do that when you're strong and stable within yourself. So please work at that. Finally, for this video, I want to touch on channeling, cosmic communications, and ETs, because, again, it seems like every man and his dog is channeling something these days. And I'm sorry to be a party pooper, again, but please take care with this stuff, because not everything that is coming through these channels is for your empowerment. And some of it is very clearly designed to manipulate and disempower. So there's my warning sign for that. I know when you first come across channeled information, it's so exciting. And it always seems to come from these superior beings. And you're like, wow, they know so much more than us. And these ETs are coming to save us, or whatever it is that they say. Anyway, some of it may be. But it's not all. And it's not all what you think it is. Much of it is designed so that you give your power away to it, either to the person channeling or to the beings that they claim they are channeling. And you listen to that information and you think it's the be-all and end-all of everything, and you focus on that information, and then you clamber for more, and the next, and the next. And you probably listen to 5 or 6 channels because now you're really sucked into it. Now, I've got to say, there is some great channelers, some great information, and some very high intelligent information coming through, but not all. Like literally, it's not all the same. And this is why your personal development, your personal discernment is so, so important when you access this kind of information. I would much rather that you work on developing your own channel. Opening up your own channel so that you can channel your higher self or your soul or a divine stream of consciousness. I would love to help you do that. And I'll come back to that in a moment. Press pause there. Notice that I didn't say channel your guides necessarily, because right there again, I've seen a great deal of manipulation around that. Not every being that pops in your channel and gives you information and says, hey, I'm your guide, not all of them are. Not all of them are evolved. And so that's a little bit of a, you've got to be really careful about that. But let's go back and say, I would love to help you to open up your channel so that you can channel your higher consciousness and soul and be a stream of divine consciousness. And the exciting thing is that this is part of our design, actually. So when you work on yourself properly, when you're really doing the inner work, and then you begin to really embody that, you're really coming into soul embodiment then. The soul or higher self that you think is outside of you, that you want to connect with, when you do your inner work, it's natural that you embody that. So it's already within you anyway. Then you don't need to listen to all of these external channels that are telling you something, because you've got your own divine channel. Because, you know, there are layers and layers of your consciousness that you can access for higher intelligence and wisdom. You actually don't need to go outside of yourself and listen to anyone when you've developed that channel within you. And yes, some of you will have ET aspects. You know, you might have very strong and clear memory of your lifetime on other planets in a more kind of extraterrestrial body or version of yourself. That is within you as well. Not everybody, perhaps, but it is within some people. And so you can still bring that through, knowing that it's a clear part of you. Really, this comes down to being grounded and doing this channeling work in a very conscious way. That's very clearly aligned with higher aspects of yourself and the divine, as opposed to just taking in any old person that wants to come through and use you as a channel. When you align to yourself in this way, you can absolutely 100% guarantee that you are receiving clear personal guidance for you and for your path and for your next steps, what is required of you for your empowerment, awakening, success, and fulfillment of your soul purpose and mission in this lifetime. If that's what you're looking to do, reach out to me. I can help you with all of that, because I've seen through myself, personal experience, and the many, many people that I've worked with over the years, that when you clear up your trauma, when you clear up your shadow, you know, and you really begin to embody, you know, your consciousness, all of that opens perfectly and divinely anyway. This is not a magic trick. This is a natural state of awakening, evolution, and expansion of your consciousness. So reach out to me if that's the kind of thing that you're looking for. We can have a chat about that. Now, I would love to hear from you any questions that you have about anything that I've said here. You can challenge me if you like. That's fine. This is just my opinion, my experience. I would also be happy to hear from you if there's anything in particular that you think you would like me to talk about or explain, or if you want to hear my opinion on something that you already have an opinion on. I'm very open to receiving that. In fact, I love that, because sometimes I wonder, what would you like to hear about next? And, you know, I've been doing this a long, long time, so I have a lot of experience. And to be perfectly honest, sometimes I don't know what you don't know, because some of that knowledge is within me for so many years now that I forget that people haven't heard that bit yet. So if there's anything you want me to talk about, please let me know. And if I know about it, I will talk about it. I can only talk about the things I know, obviously. Please make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, and share this video with anyone that you think might be interested in, because I still have to play with these algorithms, and it helps me to get my message out and to reach more people. So I hope you've enjoyed my video for today, and I wish you much love until I see you next time. Bye bye for now.